Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to the July 6th River Falls Planning Commission meeting. First thing we'll do is stand and say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and can we have a roll call, please?
Holtkamp, LaRue,
Here.
Moody,
Here.
Odine,
Here.
Prendergast, Gormanson.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next I have approval of the minutes from the June 6th Planning Commission meeting.
I move approval.
Second.
First, second, questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, next we'll go on to public comments. If there's anybody in the audience has anything like to say, come on up. Just remember to state your name and do all the stuff you do.
Benjamin Fox, 2529 Powell Avenue. I just had 3 comments towards the text amendments. In Whitetail Ridge, one of the businesses has a monument sign that was twice the size that was supposed to be. That was not caught until after it was put in and had to be put through it. And then a business within Sterling Ponds had a lighted monument sign that was twice the size that was supposed to be, and it had to be eventually variance after it was installed. And then, and then I don't know if you've been up to Hudson lately. Their newer developments up there have extremely bright LED, red and light dock lights that flash all night long. Very distracting, constant. So try to keep that down. And then even backup alarms. I mean, you hear them all night long, constantly. And you guys are planning significant amount of development of housing in that area. So I just like that to be noted as you look across these plans. So thank you.
Yep, thanks. Anybody else in the audience? Okay, move on to ordinance resolutions. This is zoning ordinance text amendment creating chapter 17.50 corporate park zoning district. And Emily Shively is going, where are you, Emily? There you are. She's going to give us a little presentation. I always look over there. You're always over there. She's going to give us a little presentation for us.
Thank you. Hey, good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'm Emily Shively, Assistant Director of Community Development, here today to share a draft of a new zoning district that would initially apply to the Man Valley Corporate Park area, the Corporate Park Zoning District. The draft ordinance sets out the purpose of the regulations, provides definitions, sets permitted, accessory, special, and prohibited uses, and describes performance standards that apply to all the uses in the zoning district. The content of the ordinance was developed from existing code, goals for the Man Valley area, and the covenants that provide additional standards for the Whitetail Ridge and Sterling Ponds corporate parks. So now I'll provide an overview of the content of the draft ordinance. The purpose statement reflects the goals for the areas to be zoned corporate park, including high quality facilities, development that is compatible with adjacent land uses, increasing the non-residential tax base, and providing new employment opportunities and diversifying the local economy. Definitions are important to provide clarity as to what is regulated in the ordinance, particularly when it comes to defining uses. So here's a list of permitted uses in the corporate park zoning district. Office, light manufacturing, research and development, office showroom, office warehouse, warehousing, and truck terminals. And all of those are defined in the ordinance. Accessory uses are minor uses associated with a permitted principal use and users on a site. Special uses are those that may be appropriate depending on the specifics of the use. So we evaluate each of those as they come in. The list of prohibited uses is again intended to provide clarity as to the types of uses desired in the corporate park zoning district. So we're saying what's permitted accessory special uses, that's what we want to see there. Prohibited uses is not what we want to see there. And again, these things are all defined in the ordinance so people have some certainty as to what we're looking for. A significant portion of the ordinance addresses site performance standards to achieve the purpose of having high quality development that's compatible with adjacent uses. And this includes parking and circulation, as well as open space. And finally, nuisance conditions. So in summary, the draft corporate park zoning district is intended to be consistent with the regulations in the Whitetail Ridge and Sterling Ponds corporate parks and establish clear yet flexible regulations to achieve the purpose and goals for the Man Valley corporate park area and any other areas to be zoned corporate park in the future. With that, I will turn it back to you, Mayor. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. If you want to stay up there. I'm assuming there'll be some questions. So we've got a first and a second, or no, I don't have a first and a second. I will take a motion on this.
Is the motion to approve it or to send it to council?
Well, I would send it to council.
Your
Might know what that means.
I move that we send the zoning ordinance text amendment creating chapter 17.5 to city council with a favorable recommendation.
I'll second that.
First and second, questions for Emily?
Yes, I've got a question. Maybe you can tell me in broad terms, is this significantly different than the regulations that have applied to Whitetail Ridge and Sterling Ponds?
It is not significantly different. In some ways, so our base ordinance doesn't have some of the provisions that are in the covenants at Sterling Ponds and Whitetail that have been effective in creating high quality corporate parks in those areas. And so we have pulled some of those standards from the covenants, which are not enforceable by the city. The covenants are only enforceable by the owners in the corporate park, like an HOA agreement sort of thing. So we want to make sure that users who are in any area zoned corporate park know what the standards are. Sometimes it may be hard to find what's in the covenants, or you're thinking, again, about signage. So our base code may have some regulations, but the covenants may be more restrictive. And so someone may come in with a proposal and then realize, oh, we actually have to change what we're doing. We didn't know. So the idea here is not to have a separate set of covenants in addition to the ordinance, but to have them just all of the standards set out clearly in the ordinance to provide certainty. So there are some differences in the corporate park zoning district from, say, our I-1 industrial zoning district. So there are some uses that we're really hoping to see out at Man Valley, again, going to that purpose of the area. So some things like self-storage would not be allowed, some of those kind of things. So we're really looking for high quality development that can expand our tax base and bring more jobs to the city.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a few questions, but first I want to say I can tell a lot of work went into this and you've really covered your bases. I just have a few questions. It doesn't reflect anything on what I'm looking at, but why not schools?
So schools and churches are prohibited uses in the corporate park zoning district. They are allowed in many other areas of the city. So here, we want to make sure that we're covering kind of any assembly type uses because there are some federal regulations that protect those types of uses. So schools and churches both fall into that assembly type use. So also, for the goals of the corporate park being to expand the tax base, often schools and churches are nonprofit entities that don't pay property taxes. So again, towards the purpose of the zoning district, we wanted to make sure that the uses that are allowed there are consistent with that purpose.
Okay, because I was thinking like a business like Mathnasium or something like that would be considered a school, but in that definition, it probably would not. So we have permitted uses as truck terminals. And I looked at the definition of terminals, but in prohibited use, it says building yards and terminals. So what's the prohibited type of terminal?
So I think anyone that's bringing sort of bulk goods that are, might become airborne or produce odors or those sort of things, that's not what we want in the corporate park district. But if people are bringing like a distribution center where they're bringing packaged goods that are going to, stay
Like
here for a
Walmart.
while and then go off to different locations.
Okay. And I love the fact that you've covered things like one tree for every 100 square acres of landscaped. I love the shared parking that you're asking people to encourage. what Diane, or council, not council member, well, whatever, Miss O'Dean. What do you call the station that you plug your EV car into?
Oh, the charging station.
Just charging stations. I see that a lot of times you don't require, but you encourage sustainability, et cetera. I would like to see if it's available to encourage people to put in the charging stations at their businesses. And, oh, the safety, the cross circulation between vehicles and pedestrians, walking paths. I think you guys really did cover all your bases. So thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Okay, got a first and a second. All in favor of passing this along to council?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, and then Emily will give us her planning update.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Just a quick update. So the final plat for Oak Hills Phase 1 was approved on June 27th. And the SIP and final plat for South Point was also approved at the end of June. And then the second reading for the electronic sign ordinance will be next Tuesday at council. So that is moving along as well. And then for our August 1st Plan Commission meeting, we are anticipating reviewing the Man Valley plat. And with that, I'll turn it back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Anybody have any questions for Emily?
May I make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
First and second to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.
Don't get used to that.
Yeah.
Do not get used to that.